Hey Bougie click. Why do smart, successful women sometimes overlook glaring warning signs? And how can we learn to spot these red flags before it's too late? In this video, we'll explore the myths of exceptionalism, the impact of cultural conditioning, and how social media influences our romantic decisions. If this topic resonates with you, make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe for more insightful content. I'd love to hear your thoughts and experiences, so drop a comment below. Remember, understanding your worth is the first step toward healthier relationships. Now, let's get into it.
I'ma make you a fan.
Why women miss red flags in relationships, exceptionalism, blind spots, and cultural baggage. Women miss red flags not because they're blind. They miss them because they believe they're special. They think they're the exception to the rule. The one who will change him. The one who will make him act right. The one who will finally be enough to make him forget his toxic past. Ignoring red flags doesn't make you deep, devoted, or endlessly forgiving, it makes you human, and, in a lot of ways, heartbreakingly ordinary. Many smart, savvy, and otherwise self-aware women charge headfirst into relationships with their eyes wide shut, convinced they are not like the others. They believe their love, personality, or patience is a cosmic cheat code, and all those rules about relationship red flags and romantic disasters? Oh, that's for other, lesser mortals. This exceptionalist fantasy isn't just cringe, it's costly, both emotionally and physically. What fuels this relentless belief that he'll treat me differently? Why do some women, often smart, stunning, and successful, treat glaring warning signs as mere speed bumps, or worse, misunderstood quirks they alone are equipped to smooth out? Every woman has heard that little voice whisper, "He only treated her that way because she wasn't like you." It's intoxicating to believe you are so special that all the rules bend in your favor. That sense of exceptionalism becomes a blindfold, shielding you from glaring red flags. When you assume, you lose the power to see what's really happening. The psychology of red flag blindness, confidently delusional. You'd think, with all the reality shows, think pieces, and therapists turned Instagram influencers spelling out the warning signs, we'd all be majoring in self-protection 101. Yet, the data tells a different story. First things first, the stunning effect of first impressions. Psychologists call this the primacy effect. The first info you get about a person clings like superglue, coloring how you see everything else that comes after. Add confirmation bias, cherry-picking the evidence that supports what you want to believe, and you have a cognitive cocktail that can blind even the sharpest observer to a partner's defects. It starts with motivated perception, the brain's fancy way of filtering the world through what you prefer to see, especially when you're tired of being single, or your last date was so bad you spent the next week reevaluating your standards downward. Then comes the urge for positive illusions. We want to believe the person in front of us is as great as we wish they were. Throw in the powerful effects of dopamine, oxytocin, and serotonin, aka the relationship euphoria hormones, and most of us barely stand a chance. So, if you're already invested in someone, you're not just fighting their bad behavior, you're fighting biology, bias, and a lifetime of lousy advice about love conquering all. He did that to her, but he won't do it to me. This is the classic pick-me prophecy. Women see a man's track record of disrespect, cheating, manipulation, or outright abuse and still convince themselves that they'll be the one to rewrite his character. They think, she must have done something wrong. She wasn't feminine enough. She wasn't submissive enough. She wasn't pretty enough. And then they step into the same lion's den wearing lip gloss and optimism. But here's the truth, a good man won't use a woman. He wouldn't date or be intimate with a woman he doesn't genuinely like. He would only date women he sees something meaningful in, women who he envisions a future with. A good man values authenticity and connection, cherishing the possibility of building something lasting and genuine. The allure of believing you are unique. We all crave validation and the idea that we stand apart from the crowd. Telling yourself you are prettier, smarter, more successful feels empowering until it ruins your judgment. This mindset convinces you that your story will end differently, despite every cautionary tale ringing alarm bells. You start to believe your charisma will rewrite his history, ignoring patterns screaming for your attention. Why I'm different thinking is so seductive, more than just ego. Here are the main psychological drivers behind this exception to the rule mindset. Cognitive dissonance. If you believe you're an above-average partner, you need your relationship to reflect that. Any evidence to the contrary, like, say, your boyfriend's emotionally unavailable behavior, creates psychological discomfort. So, to keep your self-image together, you minimize or explain away his nonsense. That he's different with me excuse is classic dissonance reduction. Confirmation bias. You want to be right about your choice, so your brain hunts for proof that your relationship is special. If you're looking for green flags, you'll find them even in a forest of red. Optimism bias. This is the Delulu Queen's crown jewel. Studies show people wildly underestimate the likelihood that something bad will happen to them compared to others. It's not just hope, it's a fantasy of immunity. Main character syndrome. Modern culture, for better or worse, teaches women that they are special, destined for a singular kind of love, and if the love story is dramatic enough, it must be destiny, right? This narrative breeds a sense of superiority. Other women fell for the narcissist and got burned, but I'm just built different. Wrong. Narcissistic traits, not always about being an actual narcissist, it can be the garden variety self-centeredness spawned by a social media culture obsessed with individuality and specialness. It fosters a belief that you can and should change the story, if not the man. The fantasy of being the one. Women romanticize being the game changer. The muse. The woman who walks in and makes him forget every other woman he's ever mistreated. They think, as soon as he sees me, he'll fall in love. He'll know I'm the one. That's not love. That's a Disney plotline with a toxic twist. This fantasy is why women ignore blatant disrespect, excuse red flags, and overextend themselves trying to prove their worth. They're auditioning for a role in a man's life that he hasn't even written. Social conditioning. Culture is messy, and so are our relationships. This delusion of exceptionalism isn't born in a vacuum. It's piped into our brains from every angle: Disney, self-help books, pop culture, and an unending menu of movies and TV shows romanticizing difficult men or painting endurance and self-sacrifice as ultimate virtues. Romance literature, for instance, began with damsel-in-distress heroines, then evolved into feisty but fixable ones who could save everyone around them with the power of love. Whether it's Emily Bronte's Heathcliff or Twilight's Edward, the message is clear: good girls can turn broken boys into princes. Modern rom-coms still pay homage to this trope, showing women persisting through jealousy, control, stormy breakups, and even outright stalking. Yes, Edward Cullen watches Bella sleep and that's supposed to be hot, not horrifying. Cultural differences matter too. Collectivist cultures, where harmony is prized, may encourage women to overlook small character defects to avoid conflict or maintain family peace. In contrast, American individualist exceptionalism amps up the belief that we write our own stories regardless of warnings. Women are also socialized to take responsibility for relationship success, to please and forgive, and to prioritize emotional labor over their own needs, feeding a relentless loop of second chances and "I can fix him" crusades. Gender stereotypes, social media, and pop culture, the recipe for delusion. Turn on any teen drama, reality show, or Netflix rom-com, what do you see? Women taking on projects, aka hot messes, and being rewarded with happily ever after for their patience. Even empowered heroines too often prove their empowerment by enduring emotional chaos rather than choosing peace. Then there's the Instagram/TikTok dating circus, red flag hot takes, endless advice threads, and influencers romanticizing manipulation or conflating controlling behavior with passion. The glory of ride-or-die loyalty gets reinforced everywhere, spinning toxic patterns as noble, if not aspirational. If you're never told that leaving at the first hint of shoddiness is okay, and, in fact, the only smart move. You're primed to stick around just a bit too long. The social rewards for suffering exceptionally well. Women who endure are praised for their selfless devotion. Want to be a good woman? Be forgiving. Want to be a real woman? Be patient, give second, third, 10th chances. In many cultures and subcultures, standing by your man is a badge of honor, and giving up too soon makes you shallow or cold-hearted. Some of this comes from explicit social messaging. Don't be high maintenance, don't overreact, men will be men, and it's not so bad compared to what other women go through. There's also the covert message: if you can handle his worst, you'll earn his best, and by extension, have proven your worth. Add the economic and structural factors: dependence, motherhood, fear of starting over, and women have no trouble finding justification to stick it out or believe their endurance magically guarantees a fairy tale payout. Self-esteem, fear of loneliness, and the tolerance for flaws. Low self-esteem is a goldmine for red flag collectors. If you don't genuinely believe you deserve more, you're far more likely to accept less. Women with shaky self-worth are more likely to see any relationship, even a lousy one, as proof they're worthy of love. More likely to doubt their gut and downplay their needs. More likely to rationalize, minimize, and internalize abusive behavior. Maybe I am too sensitive, he's under a lot of pressure, at least he apologizes. A deep-seated terror of being alone drives some women to prefer any relationship over none at all. Societal shame of singleness, reinforced by language like left on the shelf, makes the fixer-upper man seem like a less terrifying risk. Let's not even start on financial security, better with him than broke, or internalized beliefs about what good women put up with. This isn't just personal insecurity, it's existential, structural, and collective. The role of narcissistic traits, on both sides, and why that's terrifying. It would be easy to blame everything on narcissistic men, but let's take an uncomfortable detour. Sometimes, it's not just Mr. Red Flag who lives for validation. Some women's own narcissistic traits: pride in being the chosen one, belief that normal rules don't apply to them, insistence on winning or fixing, feed the fire. Entitlement isn't exclusive to one gender. A woman can be so consumed with being better than the rest that her ego keeps her locked in, leaving would threaten her sense of superiority and purpose. If you're codependent, the narcissist's emotional drama feels familiar, and you mistake chaos for connection. You can't seduce a man into integrity. Some women believe they can put it on him so good that he'll suddenly become loyal, emotionally available, and obsessed. They think their body is the magic wand that will turn a frog into a prince. But here's the reality: physical intimacy isn't love. Sex might get his attention, but it won't get his character. You can be the best he's ever had and still be the one he lies to, cheats on, or emotionally drains. Why? Because sexual chemistry is not the same as compatibility. And being desired is not the same as being respected or loved. Expert takes: why smart women still fall prey. Psychologists are not exactly shy about pointing out the cognitive patterns here. The primacy effect is powerful. That first magical impression? It lingers even once the magic has faded, and confirmation bias just keeps you loyal to it. Motivated reasoning helps you explain away what you see so you can keep believing in your special bond. Hormones are not your best friend. Falling in love literally scrambles judgment miles beyond what any bestie or therapist can talk you out of, at least for a while. Cultural scripts train women, from Disney onward, to believe true love's kiss can transform monsters into men, with no accountability for the monster, by the way. Self-esteem loops mean the less you believe you deserve, the more you tolerate, and the more you tolerate, the worse you feel about yourself. Media and amp, social media, everything from The Bachelor to TikTok celebrates chaos and confusion as passion and the journey. The more dramatic the love story, the more we reward it, never mind the carnage. The pop culture machine: how rom-coms, reality TV, and social media normalize red flag denial. It's not just your mom or your nosy aunt handing down the myth that a good woman brings out the best in a difficult man. It's the entire entertainment industry. Romance novels, from the earliest you complete me tropes to today's sassy, flawed heroines, there's a stubborn undercurrent that exceptional women get exceptional endings, even if they have to survive a dumpster fire to get there and convince the man of her worth. Reality TV, how many roses have been given to men who, in real life, would, and should, have been ghosted on date 3? The bigger the drama, the more heroism gets assigned to anyone who endures or wins at the last second. Social media, algorithms reward dating horror story confessionals and red flag memes with viral likes, reinforcing a culture that treats red flags as entertainment rather than urgent warnings. And when you finally spot a green flag, you downplay it because it's less exciting. You've been so trained to chase unique or special connections that literally healthy love seems boring. How denial keeps you blind. Denying red flags is like covering your eyes in a car heading toward a brick wall. You might feel momentary relief, but disaster draws nearer. Rationalizations like "he'll change for me" or "I'm different" offer a false sense of security. Meanwhile, the same manipulations you scoffed at in other women slide in unnoticed. Just because a man finally accepts what you have been begging him to take doesn't mean he truly desires it. Everybody likes free stuff. Long-term consequences, the price women pay for believing they're the exception. Let's stop romanticizing masochism. The real consequences of ignoring red flags, even in the name of exceptional love, are emotional exhaustion and burnout. The ongoing mental labor of justifying, fixing, and enduring takes a real toll. Loss of self-identity. When your self-worth is hooked on being someone's exception or salvation, your sense of self is the first casualty. Social isolation. Toxic partners love to cut you off from your friends and family. The longer you ignore the red flags, the closer you get to cut-off country. Low self-esteem. Worse than when you started. The more you tolerate, the less you believe in your own worth, eroding over time, sometimes permanently. Chronic anxiety, depression, or even PTSD. Relationships built on denying red flags can and do contribute to mental and even physical health issues. Vicious cycles. When you normalize dysfunction, you're more likely to keep choosing it. You become trained to expect drama, making calm and healthy relationships seem alien or unfulfilling. Blaming women is a distraction. When you hear someone blame the ex, the mom, the workplace, or any woman for a man's downfall, know you are watching a smokescreen. This tactic lets him dodge personal responsibility and positions you as the villain in your own story. No amount of female influence can excuse his abuse, his selfish decisions, or his betrayal. Shining the spotlight back onto his choices is the only way to hold him accountable. How long do you try to fix him? How long do you try and fix him? You slide into therapist mode, armed with empathy and Google's finest list of healing affirmations, believing your love can plug every crack in his armor. Psychology calls this the caretaker or rescuer complex, when your self-esteem feeds on someone else's recovery, even if they refuse to heal. You rationalize missed dates with "he's just overwhelmed," forgive every manipulation with "he didn't mean it," and hold on to hope like it's a lifeline. But here's the truth: love doesn't have a warranty, and you can't rehab someone who doesn't want to change. If you're banking on him to finally break the cycle, look at the data. Research from the Spouse Assault Replication Program shows that many domestic violence offenders don't just repeat, they can escalate their aggression over time, especially when initial incidents seemed minor. And let's not tiptoe around the worst-case scenario: intimate partners commit 1/3 of all female unalivings. Those aren't just grim headlines, they're the very real stakes when someone treats your heart like a punching bag. So, when is enough enough? When your self-worth is collateral damage. When his apologies outnumber his changes. When you're the only one stuck in therapy and he's still texting last night's barista. Know this: men who repeatedly cheat or abuse rarely flip overnight, and the odds of de-escalation drop every time you give him one more chance. It's not unloving to walk away, it's the fiercest declaration that you deserve more than a broken promise and a recycled apology. Strategies that actually work: how to snap out of exceptionalism and see red flags for what they are. So, how do you dodge the "I'm the exception" trap? Here's the action plan you didn't know you needed. Radical self-awareness. Journal your patterns. Get honest about why you chase what you chase. Are you hoping to be special, to rescue, or to prove your worth through self-sacrifice? Interrogate your red flag blind spots. Next time you find yourself making excuses for a partner, he only did that because, treat that as a 5-alarm fire, not a quirk. Ask trusted outsiders for reality checks. If your BFF, mom, or therapist says there's a problem, listen. Seriously, listen. You cannot see your own blind spots. Therapy as prevention, not just as a last resort but as a tune-up for your boundaries and self-worth. If you keep dating the fixer-upper, it's time to fix your picker, not the men you pick. Commit to clear boundaries. Decide what is and is not okay before you're swept off your feet and be stubborn about it. Reframe your idea of adventure, make peace, stability, and respect your new definitions of excitement. Practice the art of the quick exit. Don't drag out the drama. If you spot a flag, say thanks and goodbye. Don't wait around hoping your exceptionalism will be rewarded. It won't. Celebrate actual healthy love. Stop rolling your eyes at boring partners who text back, keep promises, and never threaten your peace of mind. The world needs more boring love stories. Accept that you alone cannot change them. A man has to want to change. While I do believe that a man will change for a woman, I only believe he will do it for a woman he isn't in love with. Are you ignoring red flags because you think you're special? Do you rationalize behavior you'd warn your best friend against? Do you believe you alone can fix him, heal him, or bring out his best? Are you waiting for payoff because of all the emotional labor you've invested? Is your self-worth tangled up in being the one who doesn't give up? Do you ever wonder if he really like you? Are you still confusing chaos for chemistry? If so, babe, it's time to wise up. You are not the exception. Remember, the man you are in a relationship with must think you are special for the relationship to be successful, and he shows that he feels that way by being a good man with green flags, not red. Conclusion: you're not the exception, and that's the best news yet. Stop trying to be the woman who changes him. Be the woman who changes her standards. Red flags don't turn green just because you want them to. They stay red. And if you keep running them over thinking you're special, don't be surprised when you crash. Believing you are the special case only delays the inevitable lesson. Red flags don't skip over anyone because of Instagram captions or confidence levels. By facing patterns head-on, you safeguard your heart and set the stage for genuine love. You are worthy of better, but only if you refuse to be blind. Thanks for joining me in exploring why women might miss red flags in relationships. Remember, it's essential to prioritize your well-being and recognize the signs that a relationship might not be as healthy as it seems. You're not alone in facing these challenges, and there's always support available to help you navigate them. If you found this discussion helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe for more content like this. Share your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear your stories and insights. Remember, your journey to self-awareness and embracing your worth is powerful. Until next time, take care and stay empowered. What do you think? Do women miss red flags in relationships because of exceptionalism? Let me know in the comments section. Stay bougie. Follow and support me. All links in bio. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Check description for more info. New episodes every day.